Namaste, everyone. I'm going to give you Kundalini Yoga for the light body activation. The light body activation is when you are transitioning from functioning from, let's say, the lower chakra spectrum of light to accessing the total spectrum of light. And we see it as the rainbow. Also the chakra system, the 10 bodies. So as we continue to spiritually awaken, right, Kundalini awakening, we'll say, what happens is we start to exercise different parts of ourself. So if you've been doing Kundalini yoga for months or years, or if you're new, and you are using a mantra, you're using a mudra, you're using a kriya, all of that is going to energize the different channels of you. So you can have a Kundalini awakening in one class, in one mantra recitation, with one kriya. You can have a light body activation. And it doesn't require decades of you perfecting the kriya or the mantra to experience the awakening, because on this planet Earth, we, as Mother Gaia, is initiating all of us into the blue fire, is what I call, she's initiating us into the blue fire of transmutation, transformation. So all of us are resurrecting an ancient old soul within the collective consciousness. And that ancient old soul is bringing an interstellar awareness that we had in our ancient civilization of Lemuria and Atlantis. And soon that will override the patriarchal paradigm that that's been very isolated and separate from the other ages that we've been in on this planet Earth. So we've been very much in this lower consciousness with the dark age that we've been in, the lower consciousness. The other ages of human development has been separate from us, either involuntary or it has been voluntary removal in some way, or erased, or books out of a library are burned, and excavated artifacts are stolen and kept away from the public, these type of things. But regardless, in the dark age, all we knew was the dark age. We could not compute to the understanding of the ancient Egyptians, pre-dynastic, I would like to call pre-dynastic period, before the pharaohs. We just can't compute to that, because we dropped out of the interstellar awareness and became solely earthbound. Solely earthbound. And a lot of the ancient Egyptians, you could say, death ceremony and afterlife practice was a lot about remembering how to interstellar travel, basically, is what I'll say. So when you watch documentaries or read about ancient Egypt and the afterlife and the sort of death practice, there's these initiations, these kind of 7 initiations one will travel into on basically a boat. And this boat in ancient Egypt, it represents the journey, right? And we're on a journey in this physical life, but we're also on a journey in the afterlife, right? And the 7 initiation, I kind of see it as the 7 levels of hell and the 7 levels of heaven, and the sort of variations of that, right? Or climbing up the staircase, climbing down the staircase, so that you can retrieve your soul. So I see 7 levels of hell when you go into them, which you can, and if you do like a shamanistic journey with somebody, right, you may be presented with 7 levels of hell and the sort of variations of that. And basically, a shaman would lead you into these realms so that you could retrieve your soul, so you could liberate these versions of yourself that are fragmented and that are left, you could say, in these dimensions, in these dimensions, and then you'll be led into the seven levels of heaven, where you can also retrieve aspects of your soul that are vibrating at a higher dimension, a higher vibrational resonance. And I believe ancient Egyptian kind of follows in that sort of shamanistic. I mean, they were basically shamans in many regards. I don't really hear a lot of Egyptologists calling them shamans in like documentaries. I've actually never heard that, them calling them shamans, but everything about their culture in many ways, and the realistic, ritualistic, spiritual, ceremonial culture definitely is very shamanistic. It's definitely connecting to what we call an interstellar mind, a creative mind, a sublime mind. And the light body activation is about you first energizing the creativity, which is about the flow. It's about divine inspiration, the sort of awakening consciousness, which is about you becoming more sovereign, you healing the blockages, you sort of getting your life force, moving the life force through the body, right? And then that kind of becomes a birthing ground, a fertile ground for the sublime mind. And the sublime mind is seen as a very liberated mind, very, very liberated mind. And one of the most liberated mind that we as human beings can experience, that sort of sublime mind, means where you are no longer fearful of death. You're no longer fearful of change, right? Transformation, because the whole thing about the liberated mind, it's about death and rebirth. Death and rebirth. It's about transformation and embracing transformation and surrendering to it. So with the ancient Egyptian afterlife ceremony and this sort of initiation was very much about making peace with the earthbound, making peace with the earth, right? And that could be you making peace with ancestors you meet in the other side when you are dead. It could also be about having a life review where you make peace with what you experience in your physical life. And also it's about resolving the physical life energy. So if you've like died of illness, if you had any sort of physical issues, right? Even if you had sort of physical issues with other people, like with animals, right? I mean, we as humans are not that close to the animals, but yeah, we used to have, right? It could be an animal that caused a death or something like that, right? And this is, ancient Egypt, and making peace with that. So there's this period where you're sort of there's the blue fire, we'll say, of the afterlife, and you basically go into the blue fire and you take off your clothes, you surrender your whatever you're carrying with you, whatever it is. It could be you are attached to possessions, you're attached to people, things, right? And you let it go so that you can initiate further. And this is something the ancient Egyptians they prepared for, right? It won't make sense to have this shamanistic afterlife where you're going through you're being initiated into these 7 levels of heaven and hell, and you have this life review, and it's all symbolic with the blue fire and the ancestors. It doesn't seem sensical to not prepare for that, to just go into that and just, right? So there was a sort of preparation, that light body activation is what I call it, where you're working with the full spectrum of your energy, from the red to the violet, right? The red to the violet. So we can also see it commonly known as the 7 chakras, 7 levels of heaven, 7 levels of hell, the 7 initiations into the liberated plane, right? The 7 chakras. So there's something about having to balance out each of the 7 chakras. So a lot of us have been in the dark age mainly bound to the lower chakras, because our whole life was just about survival and being obedient and not rocking the boat, and just surrendering to the higher power, which is the God, and or the priest or the king or the government head, right? So it's totally about survival. Survival has been very codependent on the Godhead. I pray the Godhead, the king or the priest or whoever this sort of person on a pedestal is. I pray that they will give me what I need, give me bread, give me water so that I can survive. Because without them, and I will not survive, right? And I don't know how to survive without them, right? So there's a lot of the Dark Age all across this planet is about just survival. So we've been functioning mainly from this red, orange, yellow, and some green as well. We think of green as in the green of philosophy, right? The philosophy of what of all crosses places around this planet as the green of the heart. Philosophy, art, music, celebration, sort of dance, all the various sort of dance techniques and dance styles when it comes to family and family harmony, family balance and family love and joy, these type of things. And when we get into the sort of indigo and the violet and even getting into that sort of blue that blue flame, we're talking about the being liberated, which is about being in union with your soul. And this is something that the ancient Egyptians perfected, right? Getting the physical, being earthbound, and getting that in harmony with one's soul. And when there's a discord or when there is not harmony, the scale, right, the weighing of the heart, it tends to be heavy. When you're in discord with your physical and that sort of spiritual, it becomes an imbalance, right? So prosperity in the chariot, the gold chariot, like the chariot card in tarot, had a lot to do with, we see the dark and we see the light, the two sort of, right, the chariot, the two sort of horses representing the dark and the light, which has to do with the polarity, the yin, the yang, right, the masculine, the feminine and the masculine, the yin, yang, and having balance with both. So having balance with your soul, the moon, and having balance with the sun, your sort of active, conscious movement self, right? And when there's harmony within that, there's prosperity, and the chariot is seen as prosperity. When there's not harmony with that, there can be chaos, there can be dysfunction, there can be heavy losses, there can be major collapses or breakdowns and just overall losses as things try to correct themselves, right? But that word prosperity and initiating to higher levels, right, of that is about continuously to have that sort of harmonic balance between the masculine and the feminine, the sun, the moon, right? Without the moon, we wouldn't have the rhythmic intelligence of the ocean. We need the moon. The moon has been installed, we could say, by a universal flow, right, to give us harmony, to sort of give us the balance we need on our planet, right, to give us the homostasis, so that the oceans there's movement, there's balance. So it's a lot about the moon. It's about sort of balancing out. So the moon, the yin, the feminine energy, the soul is all about giving you balance to your emotions. Because when we have raging emotions, we tend to be very, very impulsive, reckless. We have uncared for emotions, neglected emotions. That creates all kinds of chaos, right? Chaos. So a storm, we'll say, that never ends within ourselves. So the light body activation, when you experience it, which many of you will experience it, is where all of your chakra systems are basically the 7th chakra, the 8th chakra, even the 10 bodies, they're all in this sort of perfect resonance with each other, this perfect sort of symphony, we'll say, or conversation with each other, right? That light body is where you've unblocked all of the chakra systems. And you can do that even through just 3 minutes of Sat Kriya. And that will definitely give you the light body activation. But when you're undergoing it, you're going to feel the root chakra opening as you're clearing away the fear of survival, fear of, lack of trust, and these type of anxieties that will come up, right? You'll have this kind of, all the paranoia, the kind of childhood stuff will come up, the father wounds, the mother wounds. And then you get to the navel, and you can actually kind of sense into what's going on, which chakra is being unlocked and unblocked. You can kind of sense, because your emotions will respond. Your emotions will basically go in the direction of whatever chakra is unblocking and purging. You'll start to emotionally purge. Meaning, if you're purging that root chakra, which I have been purging, meaning you're unblocking, you're unlocking, a lot of feelings of being unsafe will come up emotionally. Feelings of being unsafe, feelings could be of abandonment, which has to do with survival. Being neglected as a child, that will come up, because that's about survival. Even money, sort of money concerns, or sort of money insecurities in general. Am I good enough? Am I worthy? Am I deserving? All of that will come out emotionally as you're purging it out of your waters. Purging them out of your waters, right? So if you're working with that navel point, the navel has to do with your strength. It has to do with your physical health, your physical vitality. So emotionally purging is, the navel will definitely want you to relax, to sleep. Because the fire of the navel, it's going to burn through a sort of disease in the system. And you will feel that in the emotional body, because you will start to feel the emotions wanting to cool off. Like you're wanting to cool down, like sleep. The time I feel the most cool is when I'm sleeping. Like really, it cools me down, right? So the navel, you'll feel very hot. And not even, it's just hot as in a way that you can feel your metabolic system could be really, really fast. You could feel there's a lot of tossing and turning in that area. You can also feel there's a sense of all of the resilience coming through, perseverance coming through, vitality coming through, radiance coming through. So when you're feeling the unlocking of the solar plexus has a lot to do with your basic self-concept, and you'll experience that emotionally, which has to do with like the beliefs about myself and relationships and what I'm good for and my value, what is my value, right? So a lot of your values, your morals, your sort of, I see the solar plexus as believing in yourself. Like I believe in myself. So if you have any struggle in that, believing in yourself, that's going to come out emotionally. Now the heart, when you're unblocking the heart, that's a big one for people. Emotionally, you're going to experience all kinds of past relationships with your mother, father, relationships you've had with your kids. All of it has to do with shame and judgment and feelings of not being good enough. Again, that will come up emotionally. And that's a tricky one. The heart chakra is a tricky one, because shame is in blame and judgment. That's a deep program, like deep in our society. So it's not as easy to purge that and to really let go of that, because it will constantly wants to clamp back onto us, because we have so many generations of public shaming and judgment and blaming each other and attacking each other. So when you're purging the heart, when you're unlocking the heart, you're going to become more philosophical. You may even be drawn to philosophers, like poets, philosophers that speak of compassion and generosity and forgiveness, right? As you purge and unlock and unblock. Now, when you're unlocking the throat chakra, this one's definitely, the throat is directly connected to the navel. So when your navel is burning up, so, which is like burning the disease, burning also the dysfunction, the destruction you have with yourself, the battle, you're going to feel that coming, like, oh my God, I have a battle with myself constantly, right? As you're purging that emotionally. That's also going to uplift the throat. So the throat chakra, when that's unblocking and unlocking, you're going to even have a greater vocal range. That's one. That Sakriya helps, a greater vocal ability, right? Range that's more connected to the navel and the entire chakra system rather than just connected to the throat, right? It becomes more auric sound. And auric sound is quite interesting than just the vibrato in the throat. It's like an auric is like your whole aura, your whole self-expression is the sound. Even when you're not even singing, you could feel the resonance of the aura, right? So when you're unlocking and unblocking that emotionally, you will experience the ways that you have been holding yourself back. You will feel you may even feel like coughing or like choking, or you may even feel like gunk in your throat. You're clearing that out. You also feel drawn to drink a lot of water. Like dehydration could be something that comes up. You're also going to feel the tension in the thyroid, in the neck. When you're unlocking and unblocking, you're going to feel the desire to work on the neck, the thyroid, or you'll just be drawn to thyroid yoga in general, because you're unlocking and unblocking the throat, which has to do with your connection to the divine, your ability to channel. So channelers of the ancient past and of today, modern times, channelers have a lot to do with the thyroid. People who are channelers, like Edgar Cayce, there's something about having the thyroid activated, right? The thyroid activated. So people who can have blocked throats, like I'm sure you've seen like people who have no necks, right? Like that, and right, that can also create sort of a blockage in the throat as well. Or they just have so much stiffness and tightness. That can also show a sort of blockage in the throat, right? And so when you're purging that, you're going to also be purging the ways that you're holding back. You're not allowing yourself to stand up, to express, to articulate. That also has to do with relating to people and understanding, like having a sense of understanding with different types of people and their different things. And also the throat has to do with discernment, has to do with boundaries, right? The common thing is yes, no, right? Type of thing. That's kind of boundaries and discernment. So with the third eye, unlocking and unblocking that kind of indigo, that has a lot to do with your imagination, your creativity. And again, that's also connected to the navel and as well the whole chakra system. So when you're unblocking that third eye point, you're going to become more imaginative. You're going to become more intuitive, more psychic. You're also going to become more sensitive. And you're also going to start to be coming into more ancient wisdom, like ancient old soul type of vibes, we'll say, right? Which means you'll have a lot of meditative space in the mind. You'll begin to really channel the mind on like connecting with the angels or the ancestors or the guides. That's something you'll be drawn to. And when you're unblocking and locking, you're releasing the confusion, you're releasing the doubt, and you're starting to receive the clarity, which is about divine inspiration, getting the vision, getting the download, getting the message. When you have that sort of pituitary adjustment, every day becomes a download, not download once a month, but the download I see is when you get the hit in the base of the spine, right? And that's what we do when we, do the Sufi grind, right? You're getting a hit in the base of the spine. And what that does is a lot of times when you hit the base of the spine through a particular sort of position or sort of moment of ecstasy, right, or breakthrough, automatically the whole chakra system moves up and the pituitary gland adjusts, and all of a sudden you get the pituitary adjustment opens up what we call a creative vision of yourself, like life purpose, soul contract, soul agreement, Sachic record, all that kinds of thing. So it's directly connected to the Kundalini energy, with the base of the spine, and that base of the spine is like a rocket that boosts it up, right? The tailbone is the heat. You get the rocket, the heat moving up, it just the pituitary gland, and then all of a sudden you get this, you get more creative, you have more vision, imagination. And a lot of people try to get the pituitary adjustment through sex, especially men, right? With this, you know, these these men and this, you know, kiddie porn stuff, right? They're trying to get the pituitary adjustment because, you know, men, we as women, we can create that just through our own energy, right? But men, they need this sort of divinity of a woman in many regards to get that adjustment, right? Because that adjustment gives them it gives them that sort of clarity, you could say, even if it's like a fixated type of, you know, fixated with that kind of clarity I have, right? So I always wondered, like, why, like, I just don't, especially when I was young, I don't understand all this, like, weird sex stuff. Like, what's this all about? These weird sex stuff, it just seems so weird. Like, what is all this, you know, these men, you know, what is this, right? And it's because I realized that they trying to many ways get the sort of pituitary adjustment that they're not getting, right? Because that makes them more, that gives them a sort of a balance, not only like a chemical balance, but it overall gives them a balance that they're seeking within the masculine and the feminine of themselves. Because when you feel that sort of balance even in the brain, you just feel good, right? And it's, you know, we talk about ejaculation, oh, I feel good, but when you get that sort of adjustment in the brain, that really works the creative brain, and you start to feel the creative brain, the juices flowing, right? You just feel good, right? And the woman, she, in her aura, she has the divinity, right? She has in this, you know, she has the divinity, she has the magic, she knows how to move the energy through a man's body. And this is something belonging to really ancient mystic schools of Egypt, ancient schools that were just for women, not for men, just for women. And then it became for men, and women, you know, were banned from practicing, right? So women know how to move the energy. They know how to direct the serpent. They know how to make the serpent move in the way that the cobra move, in the way that they want it to do, right? So we talk about a woman's sex power, right? We talk about, you know, women's sex magic or sex manipulation or succubus, like all this type of, you know, I'm sure many men have, you know, heard of this, or, you know, seen this at the bar or something like that. And that's a woman who knows how to move the energy. And this is polarity planet, so you can move a man's energy in, you know, in whatever gender that you want as a woman, right? And this goes back to ancient Egypt. Severely, women know how to move the energy in a man's spine, basically. It's not, we think it's a man and he's the one doing the thing or whatever. No, it's the woman. It's the woman, right? And a man surrenders to a woman, especially in the bedroom. And that's why for us women, the only thing we ever had in many ways, and just recently we're starting to break out of this, is just sex. That's the only way we could speak to a man, is through sex. The only way we could, quote unquote, sort of manipulate a man. And not in a, we say, a negative way, but in a way of helping him open his heart so that he can see clearly as her husband, so that they will not choose to go to war, right? Or make these decisions that are based on soul ego, right? Or soul rational mind without really a bigger, you know, auric view, right? So with the light body activation for men and women, it has a lot to do with the sexual energy. The navel, as we talk about the navel, has a lot to do with that opening up the whole spectrum of your energy. And when you get that sort of major download, a lot of it is about sleeping, I find, is sleeping. So I wanted to share this about the light body activation. Now I wanted to talk about, there's one other thing I wanted to talk about before we get into the set. That's quicker set. It's not too of a long one. I wanted to also talk about, the feelings that many of us may have on this planet. So a lot of us may be experiencing, I like to see the Mars, right? The Mars energy, right? There's something about frustration and resentment, and there's something about anger, and there's something about grief. These type of heavy emotions are coming up, and this can be connected to victimization, right? That's a Mars energy working with the inner victim, right? Being a victim to what's going on, being a victim to crises, right? So there, for all of us, there's this, when these emotions come up, which I have been experiencing, I know many people have been experiencing it, I'm frustrated because I'm isolated, I'm resentful because of this, I'm grieving and I'm just overly emotional because of this, right? That is a collective purification or purging that's happening, and it's happening through the navel clearing for this planet and for many people. It has to do with the navel clearing. It has to do with the clearing of victimization, kind of what we say, taking back your power, and that has directly to do with the navel. So we're elevating the chakra system through taking back our power collectively, and by moving the energy in ways that we haven't moved the energy, moving in the energy of change. So whenever there's change in any era or any period on this planet, change brings up the emotions of victim. Change brings up the emotions of resentment, frustration, anger, agitation, rage, that kind of thing. It brings it up. Because when you get change, anything of change, it has to do with the human emotion and the sort of the human elevating out of lower chakras. All of that resentment, blame, shame, all that resentment, anger, frustration, that heat that's been like locked in us, and we've been a victim to it, right? All of that must unlock and unblock for the change to happen, for us to elevate from this navel point into the heart. So a lot of us are being activated. We're climbing up the stairs into a more heartfelt society. But first, we definitely have to maneuver through these very intense feelings that have to do with the Aries taking back our power, the Mars, Aries taking back the power, right? That creating new energy in the body. We're creating new energy through the resentment, the frustration, agitation, emotional pain. We're creating new energy. We don't even realize it. We're creating new energy. We're generating new energy, right? We're generating new energy because we're going to use this energy that we're going to store in the heart frequency, the heart, for the future, for other things that we're going to do, which is after this period that we're in with this frustration, and that's being fueled for change, right? From making the leap from the navel to the heart, right? With the heart is about actually experiencing fulfillment and reform, and actually experiencing the soul contract being obeyed, right? For the planet and for all the people, the planet, right? And having the navel, the grit to actually bring about the integrity necessary for the people of this planet to obey the soul's contract, which is, we are going into the Aquarian age. That's the soul agreement that we must all obey, because that's a part of our evolution. You can't, just resist it, right? Only for so long, right? So, and then moving into the heart, when we're generating a lot of energy through our taking back our power, we're creating a lot of fire, and that can be destructive, right? And we see that the fire, there's a lot of fire, the anger, the rage, the frustration, there's a lot of fire that can be very destructive. But what's happening is through the fire of destruction, we're also burning through our own like our own victimization, the powerlessness. We're burning through resentment, the rage, anger, these deep emotions, very very hostile, aggressive. We're burning through them. We're gonna be done with them in many ways, and then we're going to take all that energy and we're going to put it into we're going to hold it into the heart for later, maybe this year, early 2021, and you're going to see an explosion of creativity, because people are going to be making the leap from the navel into the heart. And when that happens, the whole sort of adjustment of society is going to happen, where there's going to be a sense of divine inspiration that's happening. I'm going to follow my heart type of thing. I'm going to follow my heart. I'm going to speak more from my heart. I'm going to forgive my parents. I'm going to heal my life. I'm going to overcome this addiction. There's a lot of divine inspiration. I'm going to start this business. I'm going to relocate. I'm going to meet the love of my life. All of this kind of stuff is going to come up, because we're making the leap, and when we make the leap into the heart, that's where everybody's going to be opening up. That fire, the navel, is going to crack open everybody's heart. Right now it's in the fire of like unblocking the navel and all that garbage of what we experienced in the past, of this trauma that we've been carrying on behalf of our whole society and generations of us. We have to unlock that so that we can purge that emotionally, right, through our rage and all of that kind of stuff, so we can work it through the system, right? And that's what we do in Kundalini yoga, right? We're basically, in many ways, in a protest, taking back our power in some ways. We're doing it with inner child work. We're doing it with, even for the collective, on behalf of people who don't know how to move the energy, right, or who don't have the technology to, or the resource, or even the sort of want to do it, right? So making the leap from the navel to the heart is a quantum leap, and there's a quantum leap happening on this planet, and that in this end of this year, moving into 2021, I'm seeing so much of divine inspiration happening, as people are going to they're going to want to be creative, because since we experience the unblocking and the unblocking and the unlocking of that navel and that lower chakra, that survival, and how victim and powerless we felt, and just how resentful and just pissed and like, what the fuck is this, all that kind of emotion, like, fuck y'all, like, what the hell is this, what are we doing, we're loving it, and all of that kind of is going to come up. And that is giving us the fire that we need. We can take it's a hothead, but if you use that in a more, you can say, consolidated way, where the flame is consolidated, it actually becomes a candle. A candle represents a consolidated flame, right? It becomes a candle. And I can actually feel the sort of everybody across this planet taking that fire of the chaos everywhere, in consolidating it, making it into a candle. And that's divine inspiration. But we don't just make a candle, we make it over time. So I feel like we're all sculpting the candle of our heart, and it's kind of blobby, and the flame is like everywhere, and we're all sculpting it. Right, we're kind of chiseling out the rough parts of the candle, which has to do with our root chakra, right? That we're rough and we're rigid and we're like a cliff edge, and we're always on the edge, and we're always unnerved and restless and impulsive and reckless in our way that we behave and act, right? Because we want our power, right? We want our power, right? So the chiseling out the candle is a lot about, wanting to consolidate the flame, so that the flame, like, can be of our divine inspiration, which is our focus, which is our soul agreement, which is our clarity, which is using that fire to be creative, right? Focusing on that creation, right? That comes, destruction and creation are both in hand, right? So, many lifetimes of revolution, right? So destruction is the sort of fire of the same fire of creation. It's the same exact fire. It's just the sort of, two sides to one coin, right? It's a phase of change, the same change that creation offers, right? But in order for the offering to take place, the seeding of creation to happen, you have to be unblocked, you have to be unlocked, you have to be fertile, you have to be nourished, right? You have to have soil that's composted, that's fed. And if we feel powerless, victim, survival issue, in many ways, has a lot to do with our childhood or inner child type of things, inner childhood wounds and past life wounds and society wounds. What's going to happen is we're not going to have the type of nutrients in the sort of intelligence, the consciousness we need to really seed ourselves properly, right? So we're we're taking out the garbage, and we're taking back the power, right, of this planet, and using that sort of engine of the life force, which there's a huge life force coming on this planet, to really follow through on the soul agreement we have with Mother Gaia, which Mother Gaia has been speaking to us for many years, but in many ways we don't really take action until Mother Gaia society puts us in action, right? So a lot of us now are being put into action because now is the time for us as human beings to serve, right? Serve Mother Gaia the fulfillment she's asking. She says we have a soul contract with the earth. It's time that we fulfill it. It's time that we begin preparation, or begin even subtle, slow steps towards that, because Mother Gaia, she's looking at 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, and she's looking at the sort of adjustments, the shifts that have to happen now, even if it's just a tweak, even if it just seems small or seems, it has to happen. For in these worldwide protests, is definitely making a major shift in the collective consciousness when it comes to taking back your power on, and also taking back your power on behalf of an ethnic group that has been forcefully removed. Their powers forcefully has taken away in many ways, right? In the overall global view, right? The whole global view in many ways has been somewhat, looking at this ethnic group as less, right? Even the whole the whole German view of Jews for the Holocaust was really, really less, right? That's why we were able to do what we did, to say Germans, because right? So something about taking back the power within ourselves, making the quantum leap into the heart energy, so that we can be divine speakers, divine protesters, inspired protesters, having more we're working on how we can relate to each other, and also we're working on the subtle shifts in consciousness that's going to create younger generations, and even younger generations that are going to have more an unlocked and unblocked energy system, so that they too will have more of their integrity as we move forward, and not less. So that's what's going on. So bring the hands together. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale to begin chant. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Adgadename, Jigargadename, Sargadename, Sri Gurudev Name. Adgadename, Jigargadename, Sargadename, Sri Gurudev Name. Adgadename, Jigargadename, Sargadename, Sri Gurudev Name. Inhale. Hold the breath. Press the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Vibrate the cosmos. Exhale. Now we're going to come into cat-cow and inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. And really open up the, like we say, the tailbone is the sort of, I see it as, we can see the tail of the serpent. And then the third eye is the head of the serpent. This sort of able to hypnotically shift reality through your perception and alter it into what it is that you came here to do, regardless of what planet you're from, right? Able to manipulate the matrix system. Inhale. Exhale, round the back. Squeeze belly button spine. Now breathe long and deep through the nose. Inhale. Exhale. Bring your hands in prayer above your head and forehead to the earth. Inhale, exhale, come up, come seated. And we're going to do a breath of fire, which is an even inhale, exhale through the nose, focusing on the navel point, making the quantum leap from the navel to the heart, energizing the entire chakra system, the 10 bodies, energizing the aura. So just have your hands Gyan Mudra. Actually, we're going to have a thumb on the Sun-Venus mound, right? That's really going to create an extra sort of heat. This heat is going to really work with the heat of creativity. So as you're as you're doing the breath of fire and you're bringing the thumb to the ring finger, I want you to really see what the adjustment is in the brain, because these mudras all create adjustments in the brain, okay? So you're opening up a pathway in the brain and you're sort of sculpting it out, and you're sort of accessing. Just think of yourself in a library, a big library. All these aisles represent information, right? Books, all these aisles, all organized. Each aisle has probably like, I don't know, some aisles have maybe thousand books, right? And when you do these mudras, you're basically accessing an aisle within a library that you've probably never walked down before. And in that aisle, you get to receive information that you've probably never even been able to connect with. Download the information, data. I see it as we have 8.4 million plus books in our library, and each book is, I'm going to say it's like 4,000 pages long, and every book, these books are all full of knowledge from the beginning to the end. And then we get into the interstellar, so that's planetary. Then we get an interstellar, and that is 30 times upon 30 times upon 30 times, right, as we become interstellar. We have a planetary library, which is stationary. Then we have an auric library, which is not stationary. It's spherical. It's sort of like sacred geometry. It's like a black hole. It's interdimensional, deeply interdimensional. Inhale. Squeeze up. Press the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Think of it, when you press the tongue on the upper palate, going way back into the soft palate, you're going to feel like you're almost like when you think of hitting of a gong, right? It was like you're hitting the gong with your pituitary gland, and the pituitary gland gets the wave of vibration and begins to awaken. Exhale. Now you're going to have your hands Gyan Mudra, and you're going to hold it down like this, and then you're going to kind of fling it up while you're listening to this mantra. So you're going to try to, you really want to open, you really want to get the spine. So listen. Just go with the rhythm. So down. You want to put it back behind the ears. Thrusting yourself up. Really shoot up. Feel the heat. Breathe long and deep. Let the creativity move up the spine. If you have like sort of blocked creativity, it's going to unlock. You're going to feel it moving. Keep going. Now inhale, hold it here, face down. And begin to move it. Keep the fingers together. And then begin to move it from index to the ring finger. And keep the fingers together. Close your eyes, see what's going on in the brain. Let the Kundalini raise up the spine. Like you're swimming through. You're swimming through. Spine is tall, heart is open. Keep breathing long and deep. You're connecting Jupiter to the Venus. Focus. You're carving out a very creative brain. You're shaping it in balance. When it is not in balance, there is chaos everywhere in your life. Mental illness is simply the mind wanting to be fed, but the mind not being fed. You want to feed. The mind is just hungry. It is hungry for knowledge, for the ancient knowledge that will resurrect the dead, flush out the dead, bring in the rebirth of the thought. You're not meant to live in a mindset for your whole life. You're meant to revolve through many mindsets. Like a child is always learning. A child is never the same. Every morning they want a new style. They want to reinvent themselves. New clothes, new hair, new dream, new goal. Inhale. Exhale. Hold it here. Just feel the energy rising up the spine, rising up. Now you're going to bring your legs forward. And you're going to reach for your legs, and then you're going to come all the way back to the ground. So you're going to be working with the navel. So have it straight up from the heart. Reach it up. Bring your heart to your knees. Make sure you're breathing. Feel it, the navel adjustment. So inhale long and deep. Okay, and then come down and begin to move. It's like a snake on the ground on your back. Move like a snake, like a snake. Inhale, exhale. Now come into a full bridge if you can, and then begin to pump the pelvic area up. Inhale, exhale, come down. Bring your knees together. Bring your forehead to your knees. Inhale, exhale, and then come up. Rock and roll up so that you're seated. Seems shorter adjustments. Now you're going to start to rhythmically hit the navel. Breathe long and deep. Let yourself sweat. Okay, and inhale, press. Exhale. Now begin to chant to your heart. Tare, tu tare, ture, soha, reverently. Feel the energy moving. To the serpent of the tailbone going in the head of the serpent at the third eye. Tare, turu, tare, ture, soha. Tare, tu, tare, ture, soha. Tare, tu, tare, ture, soha. Tare, tu, tare, ture, soha. And then begin to bring your hands over yourself like you're resurrecting from the dead. You're resurrecting your heart. Resurrecting your heart. And we'll do this mantra instead. This one seems more of easy, to sing. So just close your eyes and imagine you're resurrecting yourself. Resurrecting your heart from the fear. Tare, tu, tare, tore, soha. 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 Sing to resurrect the heart. The heart has been sleeping like Snow White, but it's not looking for the prince, the kiss of the prince, but the kiss of the life. Tom tare tu tare tore soha. Om 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 Dhare Tu Dhare Dore 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 soha. Think of the 7 initiations in the 7 minutes that we're singing. Think of the 7 initiations. Om Dhare Tu Dhare Dore soha. 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 Go deeper for your last 30 seconds. Sing to resurrect your heart. Om Dhare Tu Dhare Dore soha. 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 Inhale. Hold the breath. Squeeze out. Exhale. And bring the hands down. Feel that is what that has done. Now you're going to have your legs wide, and then you're going to really open the heart. Almost like you have wings. So I'm not flexing the spine. I'm really working with the heart, the front of the heart, the back of the heart. So I'm kind of grabbing my knees. opening up the heart, this whole cavity, the back of the heart, which has to do with letting go of the past. So you want to feel it in the shoulders, so it's not the lower, we're working out with the upper body, like pumping the heart. Breathe long and deep. Inhale, exhale. Bring your legs back in for seated. So we're gonna have our hands here at the heart. We're gonna circle it around. Defining the heart, unlocking. So feel the tenderness of your hands, the tenderness of your hands. And the balancing of the masculine, the feminine, the yin, the left side of the body, the right hemisphere of the brain. And then you're thinking of the yang, the masculine, which is the right side of the body, the left hemisphere of the brain. And you're thinking of the serpent as the central channel, the Sushmana channel, that dances the Ida Pingala, called the Kundalini, right? The movement, the highest form of creativity in the physical domain. And think of the heart as the liberation, the blood that's pumping fresh, clean, the oxygen in the blood, the heartbeat. Breathe long and deep. Okay, inhale, hold it here, right over left. Again to cannon fire. And then use the belly, the navel pump. See it in the cheeks, puffing up the cheeks. You see my cheeks? You want to create movement in the cheeks. Now really puffer up the cheeks. Inhale. Hold. Bring into the fists and shake it. Exhale. Inhale, shake it. In the spine. Exhale. Inhale, shake it in the spine. Exhale. Now shake it. Just shake it. Breathe long and deep. Shake it. Feel it in the spine. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Feel in the spine. Shake it vigorously. Shake it, shake it. Shake it vigorously. Clearing it out, clearing it out. Shake it vigorously. Move it with this sound. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Shake it, shake it. And then shake the head, the neck, side to side. Look, shake it, close the eyes. You cannot do this with your eyes open. shake it, the head, shake it with the tailbone. You're coming out of the cage of your heart. Break through the cage of your heart. Okay, inhale. Exhale, relax. Now you're going to come into a deep squat and listen, and just have your hands chief, and just let yourself open up. And then begin to just move, kind of like the serpent from the perineum to the third eye. See the perineum, the tailbone, the dog tail is the tail of the snake. And then the third eye is the cobra sort of hypnotic trance, is able to manipulate reality in a sort of manifestation into finer reality. So kind of just create that movement. Feel it in the opening of the perineum and the secretion of the pituitary gland. Hips start opening. If you're a woman, you're getting in touch with a deeper sexual energy. There's pure. So again, I'm feeling the perineum, which is the entryway of the vagina, and then I'm feeling the spine, and then I'm feeling the third eye as that kind of cobra, sort of hypnotic. And I'm focusing on what it is I'm giving birth to. I'm consolidating the energy, the creative energy, focusing on which I want to create, calling it in. As you breathe, it becomes more relaxed. Feel in the spine. As you come out, you don't want to sit in it like that. You don't want to sink. You really want to come up. That gives you an elongated spine. Feel in the spine, you're strengthening the spine. Like the cobra that stands up and hypnotizes you, liberating you beyond your fear, fetish, paranoia, addiction. Okay, inhale. Exhale, come down onto your knees. Feel that kind of movement. Definitely feel it. Kind of find your way to your knees. I have my hands just Gya Mudra on my lap. seeing the serpent in me move, dance. Seeing it white with blue eyes. Seeing it black, black eyes. Seeing it gray with gray eyes. Inhale, exhale, and then sit on your bottom. And then inhale, exhale. Last thing we'll do is you're gonna activate the light body. So sa, 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 sa. So you're gonna have the left hand, the left hand up, thumb touching the Mercury finger, which is the pinky. Thumb of the right hand touching the sort of lower sternum, that kind of bone. And then the pinky is reaching towards the belly button. Sa. So begin to just chant with me. Okay. And you're working on activating, making the quantum leap. And just have the other fingers across the body like this. Ra, ma, da, sa, se, so, hung. Then move the thumb to the middle finger. Ra, ma, da, sa, se, so, hung. Back to the pinky. Ra, ma, da, sa, se, so, hung. Middle finger again. Ra, ma, da, sa, se, so, hung, and continue. Ra, ma, da, sa, se, so, hung. 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 Ra ma da sa sa se so 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 hung. Inhale. Exhale. Reach the hands up. You're gonna do this sort of ET. We're gonna bring the hands facing up. Gonna look up. Open the mouth and breathe long and deep through the nose. So your mouth is open as you're bending your neck back, opening up, lifting the collarbone up, opening the heart. You're going to imagine that sort of channel, that sort of pipeline from the perineum to the top of the head is cleaning out. And there's like a vacuum from the top of the head, sucking it out, and then sucking it out of the blockages, pulling out the debris, pulling it out. So you're gonna do a and your eyes are open, looking up and feeling sort of the vacuum pulling out of the pipeline, right? The sort of junk, cleaning the pipeline with pure pranic energy, pure gold. And again, I'm doing this above my head, right? It's a celestial sort of message, we'll say. So powerful breath. They'll really feel pulling up from the navel. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Inhale, hold. Exhale. Inhale. Push up from the armpit. Exhale. Bring the head up, push up from the armpit. Really press the hands up like you're pressing against a wall. Hari 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 hari. Hari 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 hari. Hari 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 hari. Hari 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 hari. Hari 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 hari. Hari 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 hari. Hari 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 hari. Hari 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 hari. Inhale. Exhale, relax. Now, last thing. So just placing your hand on your womb if you're a woman, right, or your root chakra if you're a man, right, your right hand, and then your left hand on your heart. You're feeling your heart. Begin to chant. Wa 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 hey 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 Guru. Wa 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 hey 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 Guru. Wa 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 hey 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 Guru. Wa 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 hey 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 Guru. Wa 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 hey 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 Guru. As you do hey, smile, and then Guru, an O-shaped mouth. Wa 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 hey 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 Guru. Wa 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 hey 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 Guru. You're healing the cosmic mother. Wa 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 hey 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 Guru. Wa 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 hey 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 Guru. See yourself inside the golden egg. Wa 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 hey 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 Guru. Wa 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 hey 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 Guru. Wa 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 hey 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 Guru. Sing to your mother, your actual mother. Wa, 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 hey, 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 Guru. Sing to the father. Wa, 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 hey, 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 Guru. Sing to society. Wa, 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 hey, 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 Guru. Sing to the spirit. Wa, 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 hey, 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 Guru. Sing to your liberation. Wa, 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 hey, 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 Guru. Sing to your sovereignty. Wa, 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 hey, 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 Guru. And sing to your soul. Wa, 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 hey, 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 Guru. Inhale. Hold. Think of the 7 initiations into the cosmic womb of pure creative destiny. Exhale. Now just close your eyes, listen to my voice. The 7 initiations in the afterlife and in life, the journey of ultimate journeys. The 7 levels, the mother, the perineum, the mother. We come in, we go out, the mother. The Ma frequency, everything is created from the Ma frequency, the giver of life, the life force. The father, the 2nd initiation. The 2nd initiation has to do with the navel, has to do with moving the energy by your will. The Ra, the sun that bears gifts and treasures and alchemy, order to the days, to the years, to the seasons. And then we have society, the 3rd initiation. Society is the relationship you have with the world, the programs in your own mind, the belief systems. Society, your religion. Society, your culture. Society, your consciousness, and the many versions of that. And then the 4th initiation, the spirit. Spirit is your transformation, your transcendence. You're starting to tap into your soul agreement, what you came here to do, the astrology, evolution, time, space, your intention, your projection, your aura, chakras, you in harmony with you in harmony with your joy. And then the 5th initiation is the liberation, the ability to move through the programs, the beliefs, to make peace, to resolve, to heal, to grow, to excel. And then we're thinking of sovereignty is your creative mind, the 6th initiation, your creative mind. And the 7th initiation, your soul, your creativity being expressed in all of its greatness, all of its grandness, all of its largeness, all of its purity and its strength. Now you can relax on your back, and I'm going to play the drum to help you cross through the 7 initiations of your life and the afterlife. So just close your eyes. You can lay and just listen to the drum, the pounding of your heart, and see yourself going through the 7 initiations, through the mother, the channel of the mother, the channel of the father, channel of society, channel of the spirit, channel of liberation, channel of sovereignty, channel of the soul, and see the 7 initiations as you come out of the mother. You met with the father. Father introduces you to society. Society introduces you to your spirit, the spirit of culture, religion, the spirit of energy, the spirit of exchange, the spirit of reciprocity, karma, dharma. And then your spirit introduces you to liberation. Liberation introduces you to sovereignty, the sovereignty of mind, to uplift and to empower and to encourage yourself, to believe in yourself, to transform yourself. And then the sovereignty gives you your soul. Your soul. Okay, so just listen. So inhale, exhale, and you can join me as you stretch side to side, rock and roll on your back, coming up, moving into closing. I'll send you off. You can continue to relax or you can sit up. Soak this all up, be transformed, go into your creative mind, the sublime mind, and explore your light body. Inhale. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Sat Nam.